what I find often when people are talking about this from both sides of the aisle, and obviously I sit on this side of the aisle coincidentally.
Okay.
What I find really interesting though is that we always seem to fixate though on the trans experience, right? Like that's how it feels for us women, biological women. That's how it feels. We're always focusing on how the trans people feel and how the non-binary people feel. We get left out of the conversation oftentimes. Susie, you can talk in a second, and it's very frustrating for us because there are unique issues that affect us in a way that you will never understand. And that's not to say that your existence is invalid. That's not to say that you're a crappy person or that we should relegate you to the back of the bus. None of that. It's to say that we live in a world that will always be different by the fact that we are born biological women. We are different. We are different. And we can embrace you. We can bring you into the fold and say, cool, there are issues that will, that together we can have and that we can, fight for and what have you. And I'm sure that the existence that, I always think this to myself, I couldn't even imagine how stressful and painful it must be to be trans because you're sort of fighting against the biology that you have and yet the nature that you want to have. That has to be very challenging, and I reconcile that.
Let me interject something
For some
here.
people it is. But you know what's very upsetting for us is to be told that our very existence is superseded by the feelings of others. That is how we feel, and it's very, very frustrating.
I'm not in this us.
Let me interject
I'm not
something here.
including you.
Let me
Just
interject
pretty clear
something
you
here.
stand on all of
Let me
this.
interject something here while what you said is fresh in everybody's mind. Because I have heard what you've said. You said it very eloquently, but I have heard what you have said here before, almost verbatim, with adding one word. And it was talking about white women, and it was said by a black woman. She said, you can't relate to what a black woman goes through. You're a white woman, I'm a black woman, you can't understand what I've been through because you're a white woman. You talk about the struggles that white women have been through. You don't understand struggle because you're not a black woman.
That's exactly
and you've
the
been
point.
through. And so my point is that there are different perspectives and you don't have to agree.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you're not open, that you can't weigh that, and that it doesn't cause you to broaden your horizons or broaden your perspectives just because you don't change your definitions.
It's about more than definitions, though, Dr. Phil, in the sense of even recently with the Roe v. Wade stuff, there was a piece of legislation that was put before, I believe, the Senate, and people can correct me on that, that didn't once reference women, female, anything. It just said people. And it was in reference to abortion. When I saw that, I thought this is erasing the fact that the majority of women are biologically inclined to give birth. Now, whether they do, like I said before, is irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you can actually give birth. The fact that you have that anatomy, that is what's very important, at least as far as I'm concerned. Now, when you look at the way that politicians are discussing this, it has ramifications. It affects us because they're using language that does not represent the 99.96% of the population that identifies as a biological woman. Or that is a biological woman.
We have to take a break and we'll be right back. It's impossible to cover a topic this important in just 1 hour. We left our audience with a lot to think about. Final thoughts next. Tomorrow,